Alright, what is up, everybody? Welcome to TNT Championship Season 2 2023 Competitive Division Semifinals. I am Delthius, and joining me at the desk today, we've got Urban Olive. What's up, dude?
Hey guys, what's going on? I am Urban Olive, here to help cast a couple of the semi-final games for the comp division. I mean, these are the top two, and winners are gonna move on to the finals sometime in a couple weeks from now. Hopefully, get to see that live.
Yeah, I think we'll probably get it wrapped up before the end of the year, if I had to guess. So my question for you is, do you either A, want to see Melvin Fro win to avenge you against R22, or B, want to see R22 win? That way you can say, well, you know what? I mean, I lost to the guy who won the tournament, so...
Right, yeah, it's a tough question because Melvin was in our finals last season. I ended up losing to Tonka on the other side of the bracket, right? So we haven't seen Melvin win a finals for a couple seasons now, but I think Melvin has won a finals before. Actually, I know that because I casted it.
Yeah.
However, R22, I don't think has ever made a finals. Actually, I'm pretty sure has never made a finals. Kind of the underdog in this scenario, and on top of that, as you said, I lost to R22 in heartbreaking fashion, 3-4. I mean, he makes it happen. He pulled it out, and I gotta say, if he ends up winning this thing, then I got a pretty damn good excuse.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, R22 is kind of new to the very final stages here. So is Sasha as well, which we'll see Tatanka versus Sasha later on. So I do agree. I think this is the story of, like, Tatanka and Melvin. Okay, we expect them to win. You know, it's kind of no duh that they kind of take the crown. But Sasha and R22, both really good players, both put in a lot of work, and they definitely deserve to take home a trophy eventually.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, for those outside watching this, you may not even some of you may not even recognize the name R22. I think a lot of you will recognize Tonka, Melvin Fro, Sasha, but R22 has been putting work for seasons and seasons, and even this season in our group stages, which some of you may have seen, some of you may not have. R22 went 4-0 in his group, one of the only two players to do so in the group stage, and doing that, he beat Tatanka, he beat Fleur de Lis, Winterload, Century. I mean, like, really top-level players, especially Tatanka, who's now on the other side of the bracket, who he may face if he wins this game. The other player to go 4-0, who we're going to see after this match, was Sasha, beating Mishi, Kipo, Scav, and Delthius.
Yes.
So, yeah, we got some really, really good games coming up here, and I don't think anyone should be sleeping on R22 here. He's been playing for a really long time. He's been around, plays every season, and gets far every time. He surprises people every time, and maybe this is the time when he surprises even more. We'll see.
Yeah. If you could let the players know we're ready to go.
Yep. We'll give them the signal.
Tell them to hit that check button. But I agree, and I think that, what I've seen a lot, especially this season particularly, is positioning just mattering so much, man. I mean, I've been watching this game forever, and I still get, like, taken aback sometimes when you look at fights, and I mean, maybe one person's got the better army, but the other one's got the better position, and that just matters so much in Tooth and Tail. No way R22 is really randoming here.
Yeah, there's no way.
A soft random?
Okay,
yeah. I was wondering if he'd do a soft random at least.
He's soft randoming for pigeons, then drops the pigeons for moles.
Alright, here we go. Getting into match number 1 here. In the left-hand side, in the green trunks, R22, and over in the right as Archimedes, Melvin Fro.
Oh boy. Oh man. Okay, so coming into this, my thought was Melvin Fro is kind of pioneering this new deck that he thinks is the best tier 3 combo, which is the Badger Owl. Oh, here we go. Okay, it's just a little bit of lag there. We're good. But actually going to bring a slight variation of the exact same deck I thought he was going to bring. It's actually going to be the Badger Wolf. What's the strength of this deck, Deltius?
The Badger's kind of in an interesting spot, and more so than what I mean, obviously the Wolf is great, especially with the Falcons. You get that Wolf buff on the Badger, but I mean, the modern Wolf buff doesn't last that long in a tier 3. But I'm almost more interested in R22's deck here, because I feel like the Snake is just kind of better than the Badger, right? Plus you get the moles for the early and the mid game.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that both of these players have really well thought out decks. I would say that R22 has a very strong early game with the Squirrel Mole. He's got a great mid game with the Cam Falcon, and then Snake and Badger, or sorry, Snake and Wolf are really gonna bring him home for like an early to early late game, I guess. He's got a really just strong all-rounder deck. All parts of the game are covered in this deck. Melvin Fro is kind of the same, although I'd say he has probably a little better late game. As long as he can deal with those snakes somehow, that's going to be a really tough point of the deck. Dealing with those snakes, you're going to need a lot of pigeons, or you're going to need some great Badger micro.
Yeah, and the snake is just such a like big brain play in the way where R22 is anticipating the Badger. Like that's really why you bring the snake along, you know.
I mean, yeah, this is Melvin Fro we're talking about. His emote in the Discord server is a Badger and pigeons. I mean, you can't play Melvin Fro without playing its Badger. It's just the way it goes.
We saw in some of the big Mishi late game matches, you know, in the quarterfinals of like, the late game army where you get a ton of Badgers out and that kind of stuff. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like the Falcons just scale so damn well, you know. Like especially with the Wolf. Like, do you really even need the Badger nowadays?
Yeah, it's so funny. There was someone, I think it was Tonka, who posted like this list of decks that he's been trying out, he really likes, and everyone's talking like, okay, I love these units, these are really like good units, and in every single deck that people show, like for their new favorite, it's always, they're always talking about like, oh my god, I love Squirrel. It's always Falcons. Every single time, Falcons are in that deck, and no one ever notices it because they're just agreed upon as such a universally strong unit. I mean, yeah, they're the unit, the tier 2 unit at least, that scales the best into the late game every single time.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that, again, I mean, obviously they're bursts, but it was what we were talking about earlier, where I think positional advantage is so important in this game, and that's really, in my opinion, the hidden strength of the defender's advantage, why attacking is so hard, because while you're attacking, your units have to move up, find a tile, where the opponent's units are already in a tile, they can already start firing, so they DPS faster, right? But Falcons don't suffer from that because they just stack in the air. Like, they don't really need to find... Their tile-seeking, like, pathfinding is much, much better, I guess. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll see fights... I guess, like, choke points in this game. The reason choke points are dangerous to fight in is because your squirrels end up running around and not finding tiles. By the way, Wolf drop from R22 here.
Yeah, good scout from Melvin, barely sees it. So
yeah,
he knows what's coming. Oh, but actually R22 sells it off for some Falcons.
Oh, and Melvin drops a Wolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sick mind game here from R22, baiting the opponent into building their own tier 3, which is obviously what R22 wants, right? And they're going to confirm that here. So now Melvin comes back in. Is Melvin going to see that it was sold? He does. Okay, so now what's the move for Melvin? R22 rallying forward a little bit.
Thinks he has enough here. Gonna drop some more tier 1 wardens. Interesting. I wonder if this push is gonna work. If the Wolf gets paid for, that could be a pretty tough timing push. And wiping out warrens and stuff like that, or the mill. That would be pretty much game ending damage if R22 can make that happen. At this point, committing to no tier 3.
Am I crazy, or does R22, like, maybe I'm crazy. I was thinking he builds a bunch of moles and then just tries to target down the mill with them.
Yeah, he's got, I was like, yeah, he's floating 200 food. Where's that food? Boom. He goes into snakes and then he drops 3.
But I mean, obviously he builds moles for this, but the question is, do you try to target down that mill or not? Because you're going to lose the fight if you do that, but you'll kill the mill. Or maybe you just target the mill with the moles or something?
I don't know, because you need to win the fight a little bit so that the Wolf counter push doesn't instantly
free gas coming in.
Ooh, yeah. This free gas is really nice. I think you need to pull back a little bit here to wait for the gas to reset. Trying to get a different angle. Okay, he does get a different angle on the gas, but it's replacing. Cam's moving in.
Yeah, I think he's gonna win the fight, and then now
he'll try and focus the mill. Does he have enough? Ooh. Now focusing the Falcons. Falcons are going down from Melvin Fro. Definitely gonna get this mill, I think. Yeah, the mill goes down, and he's also knocking out the army from Melvin Fro, which is gonna make the Wolf counter push much weaker. Yeah.
He did try to. He did not hyper-focus the mill. He did try to actually win the battle too, but now the counterattack from Melvin's coming in. Can R22
but there's no
stabilize?
Falcons here. It's just skunks. Is this enough? The skunks are so brutal though in this tier 1 from R22. There's nothing. He can't even move forward. Every squirrel dies
Yeah,
instantly.
look at all that gas. 4 skunks are just so insane. Plus the wolf buff, I mean, it's constant
Snakes
gas.
are here. A couple falcons from R22. He's got the tier 2 now, I think, to hold his pushback. He needs to keep his mill alive, though. Losing this mill, I think, seals the deal. It's wolf versus no wolf at that point.
Yeah.
He's focusing on the falcons. It's just skunks now. He needs to kill them.
Yeah, a couple squirrels left over. This
down.
hero falcon. Actually, the mill is staying up for now. There comes the squirrels.
Of course, the skunk gas has actually managed to kill pretty much every pig on the mill, and there it goes.
So crazy. That gas is just nuts in the wolf here.
And look at the army value now. You can see the damage now. R22 needed to hold that mill. It was so close, but in the end, just unable to hold it.
So what went wrong in that major engagement, do you think, for R22? Because it looked like, again, I mean, attacking in this game is just so tough sometimes. Like, it looked like he took a okay fight. He got the mill. But then Melvin was just able to kind of clap back too hard. Do you think it was mostly because of the wolf there?
I think so. R22 took that mill. He actually had a pretty good fight there. He came out on top of the fight, I think. But on the retreat, he lost all the units that he kept from the fight. He lost 2 falcons on the retreat.
Yeah.
Like probably 8 squirrels or something like that, and then he was just unable to regroup, re-rally, because the skunk, honestly, the skunks were the MVP for Melvin Pro there.
Actually, now that you mention it, like the wolf, it wasn't, in my opinion, the fact that a tier 3 came out, but I think it was specifically the wolf, because as you said, on the retreat, like so many units died, and that was because of that wolf movement speed buff. In the right side, though, we've got R22, and in the top left, Melvin Pro, same decks by the look of it.
I think so, yeah. He's happy with this Wolf Badger. And I wonder if R22 can, if he's paying attention right now, can kind of try to think what that 6th unit could be that he hasn't seen yet. You know, he's playing against Melvin Pro, maybe he can guess it's a Badger.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's really thinking about it. He may just know. I mean, I know that R22 does prep work for all of his games. I know that for a fact. He goes through and he watches stuff and he writes down deck comps and stuff like that. But I don't think I've seen. I guess I haven't seen all of Melvin Pro's games this season, but I don't think he's played this deck yet. It's mostly been Badger Owl from what I've seen.
Map looks pretty decent, a little bit better for Melvin, but you can't complain too much for R22. I'm a little bit worried about this third base for R22, that he's just, like, I guess the forward one.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a small rush distance once we get there. I mean, we're going to have touching territories, and that can make a really scrappy game. But this is a really small map in general, so maybe the moles will favor R22. I don't know. Sometimes it just depends. Like, even on small maps like this, high-level players just love to get up to their 16 farms. And
yeah, it's definitely something you'll notice when you start to watch a lot of high-level Tooth and Tail. It just ends up, like, skipping all the early game stuff, and then let's just get to the mid-game already, guys. Come on.
Yeah, and the reason for that is that, you know, really strong players in this game kind of know how to deal with most of the early game pushes, and you know, even if I'm just committing to like nothing but tier 1 and I try to come in and you're ecoing, like they're gonna scout you, they're gonna make sure that they're ecoing at such a pace to where they'll be able to barely hold on and still keep an economic advantage. So with that in mind, most players just say, you know, it's not worth it, let's just match suit and economy and get up to 16.
Yeah, the only time you're getting 4 farm doubled in top play is if you're playing Meek, so it's usually not going to happen because people just kind of know what to deal with it, and they just okay, I'm not going to try because it's disrespectful.
I'm crazy. Melvin won that last game, didn't he? Yes.
Yes.
I don't know why I put a point for R22. I'm glad I noticed that.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Looks like R22 moving in. He has a slight squirrel advantage, but with defenders, Melvin should be okay. Yeah, gonna go home.
Yep, just kind of pushing out, just a little shoulder check to make sure, I don't know, Melvin didn't do something like sell his tier 1 for tier 2 warrants or something like that.
Because that happens sometimes in this game,
you know?
for
sure.
Yeah, and if you can catch someone who's just sold down 2 tier 1 warrants to replace them, you know, like, oh, well, this little bit of, like, macro greed to get my tier 2 out faster has just lost me the game. So, yeah, little picks like that can... You know, it's a short timing window, but if you like act, you know, like if you pre-rally or something like that, and you get that, it's just like, oh my god, like how does that even happen? Yeah. Oh, Wolf here from R22.
All right, so 16
Wolf here from Melvin.
Yeah, this is very, very standard high-level meta here. Get up to 16 farms, build just enough squirrels to not die to something stupid, and then get out your Wolf or tier 3 of choice. Mostly the Wolf these days, though.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Wolf is a really good combo tier 3 as well, because it will buff up, especially with the Badger, honestly. It buffs up the Badger's rev time,
Yeah.
movement speed as well, but the only thing the Badger really needs buffed is its rev time. That's the
Right.
main weakness of the Badger. And so that's nice. And also it buffs the production speed of your units out of Warrens, which can help you get out of second tier 3.
Yep, and buffs your economy. Your pigs will farm twice as fast. So I think that's why Wolf can be such a great, like, just throw this unit down in the early game. Because, again, it's got all that kind of infrastructure utility. It doesn't force, like, if you throw out a quick boar or something, generally you're wanting to attack with that. You know, you don't necessarily have to attack right when the Wolf is out.
Right. And the Badger now dropped from Melvin Pro. I wonder what the choice here from R22 is going to be. He doesn't have a second tier 3. Yeah, he did see it. I mean, he knows what's happening. He just needs to. Now is the choice: is what do I do?
Well, R22's deck is really gonna scale into Cam for the front line, Falcon for the DPS, and then Snake as the
tier 3 killer,
as the Badger sniper. Yep. So.
Oh, he's moving. R22. So yeah, I don't know if they've mentioned this earlier. Oh, he's looking for a push here with the Wolf.
Yeah.
Melvin first sees it, I think.
This is actually pretty smart. I mean, Melvin does have a lot of money invested. He's got $360 in that Badger that's not even here yet.
Right. Army's somewhat similar, but R22 just hit a huge spike from these moles. Once 8 moles hit the field, this is going to be a pretty brutal hit, especially he's going for the Warrens. Here comes the fight. Wolf buff Cam's on top of everything. He's gonna set the Badger Warren. Badger Warren goes down.
Oh my god.
He go home.
And then he's bailing out. Oh, stand your ground.
I don't know. Can he get out here? With the Wolf buff Falcon's chasing, he's gonna try to run home, but he's gonna lose everything. I don't know if the Wolf is gonna get out of here.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Is this
disaster?
This is a similar story to game 1, man, where R22 does a cool attack with some moles, but Melvin Pro just on the backswing. Gonna be able to come in here and look at this. R22's army's been devastated.
Oh my goodness. That's Melvin Pro losing like 2 squirrels. Brutal.
Man, I really feel like this was the story of most of my matches this season. Like, I would try to attack and then just get slammed on the back. And why do you think Melvin just was able to counterattack so well there? I mean, look at the graphs, you know, it was pretty close.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. That fight went so well. R22 committed the Warrens because he wanted to snipe the Badger Warren. He got it, but ended up losing his entire army for it. Didn't trade out anything from Melvin, and that's just
the defender's advantage of, you know, again, the units being in the right spot for Melvin to begin with, and then also, you know, targeting the Warrens and the pig, like the firepower from the pigs, and those Warrens are tanking damage, you know, when you're killing Warrens, but your opponent's killing your units. I mean, it can snowball fast. And in the bottom, trying something different this time, R22, and up top, Melvin. And this is this guy deck from back in the day, essentially, that R22 is using right here.
Yeah, this is probably the most meta Badger deck, or the most standard Badger deck, I'd say. You know, Falcon Skunk is a really good pairing with Badger. As you can see, Melvin Pro always runs it. And then he's adding moles, flex 5th, I guess. The players have essentially the same deck, with just different deck slot picks. So Melvin Pro is picking a unit that's going to scale him way better into the late game, which is the Wolf, which he's been using pretty effectively so far. And then R22 is picking a bit of an early game advantage here. Melvin Pro with a 5-farm single. Interesting. But ply blocking it as well, though. R22 is not even going to respect this. Okay, he drops a
6-farm Warren, and I think maybe I like that approach from Melvin. I mean, it's kind of a small rush distance, and you know, maybe R22 on the backswing, you know, 0-2 right now. Maybe try something crazy like a 5-farm double. You know,
yeah, that's really smart.
So Melvin Pro kind of preemptively defending against something like that, and you know, R22 this game, I like the aggression. I generally like trying to be the aggressor or the one with the initiative in RTS games, but I think I really like the way R22 changed his deck here with the Skunks. I mean, the Skunks are really the unit if you are gonna try to attack, and I don't think you want to let your opponent get to the 16 farms. I think you maybe try to do that attack, like, I don't know, like at 1.5 bases, you know what I mean? And come in with like 2 Skunks or even 4 Skunks, and I feel like Skunks are some of the best units at attacking right now.
Yeah, they can put on pressure that makes your opponent attack into you. If you can get pre-gas on pigs and stuff like that, it actually completely reverses the defender's advantage because the other person has to come out, otherwise
Yep.
they're just going to slowly trickle up tier 1.
Yep, and then you can take the fights a little bit outside of the Warrens and Pigs and stuff like that as well, because they have to come out to you, and then now those buildings and Pigs aren't soaking damage for the army. So we do see the quick skunk here, and yeah, Melvin is respecting this. I think Melvin's read this correctly, that aggression might be coming.
He actually didn't see the skunk. He's going to see it now. Dropping a falcon as well. Sees both of those, okay. And Melvin might even just answer this, to be honest. He might just drop a falcon in the zone. Yep, there we go. Now, this is the opposite of the standard get 2 bases, 16 farms, drop badger, drop a wolf, whatever.
This is more like what my games look like most of the time.
My game, I can't say my games look like this. My games just look like squirrel moles, so yeah.
Well, you gotta respect this kind of stuff. I mean, if your opponent goes 2 farm double into a tier 2 and you're trying to expand, if that tier 2 is skunks and they really like double down on just tier 1 warrants and stuff like that, you can be in trouble.
Yeah. Honestly, in some cases, I would prefer skunks to, like, you know, an early aggressive play over like ferrets or something like that. You know,
for sure.
They're just so good at fighting. If you can't push in, they're a good unit. Oh, he's looking for some high ground views here. Yeah, a little pre-gas coming in. Trying to make something happen. He's actually got some good pre-gas down. Melvin's gonna have to not fight this. And there's not very many squirrels here from R22. He's doing a great job microing them behind his army, so the pre-gas goes out. Only the skunks. Needs a lot. There's a skunk there. He loses the skunk.
Yeah, with all the pigeons he invested into, he really wanted to keep these tier 2 alive.
Yeah,
One of them going down.
At least these falcons.
Oh, the falcon getting healed! He got to 1 HP! 5 pigeons!
For R22.
Oh my god, that was huge.
That's so good. Now he's going to keep pressure on. With only 1 skunk, he's going to not lose anything here. These pigeons are going to do so much work here for R22 if he keeps his pressure on.
What a great attack.
Wow. So close.
The pigeons are a little bit unorthodox. At least they have 6 at this phase of the game.
I know.
So, I mean, they're doing a great job.
Yeah. Just keeping this pressure on. Melvin really can't move in at this point, and he's forced to stay present with his army. Well, guess what? R22 is macroing a little bit of economy behind it, dropping more falcons, and Melvin can't even scout. He doesn't know there's a mill here.
All right, another big attack
He's
coming in. Melvin trying to push
He's
forward.
not even gonna get the falcon again.
Oh, the pigeons keeping it alive, dude. Oh, that skunk needs to live. Get it on the gas.
Oh.
Take it to the bath. Oh my god, dude.
This is a masterclass in tier 2 micro from R22. He's doing incredible. He's gonna. Oh, he kills the skunk to skunk gas from Melvin. And this is so brutal. Melvin can't kill anything, and he can't keep anything alive. And now he's on top of Warrens.
I'm really happy for R22 here. He's microing his brains out, and look at that, he gets the win. And this is actually very huge that R22 wins this match, because I mean, you know how it is if you're in a competitive game. You're down like 0-3, dude. Like, you're not playing your best anymore. You know, you're a little defeated. You're already kind of giving up in your head, and you're like, dude, what am I doing? Why am I even here? 0-3. You know, what's going on? You know, R22 got out of that, and you know, he showed that he can come back with a very scrappy, aggressive build, and now this also keeps Melvin on his toes, because
it does.
Is R22 going to try something like that again, or is he going to go to the 6-farm handshake?
Yeah, and you know what?
16, rather.
Melvin Fro is such a defensive player, and taking him out of his comfort zone like that, putting the pressure on him in a way that favors you, and getting so good with, getting such great fights with those tier 2. Taking Melvin out of his comfort zone like that was really, it was excellent. Seeing that high ground attack too was really really smart from R22.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like we have
disconnect here. I think Melvin Fro with some internet issues.
Yeah, he's been kind of popping in and out.
Yeah.
No big deal.
That's good. Yep.
So R22 did pick the same deck again, though.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be happy with that deck at this point. Sometimes it can really, I mean, if you're going down games and games and games against a player, you really need to switch up either your playstyle or the deck. And I think R22 did both, actually. He switched up his cams for skunks, and he switched up his playstyle from sitting back to 16 farms to tier 3, which is where Melvin's comfortable. That's Melvin's hitting zone. Right. You know, you're taking him to a zone where he's not as comfortable. You're taking him outside of where he's used to playing. And we saw it work for him, and so I think he's gonna try to do that again.
Yeah, and again, I think the the big thing is too, whether or not he does it again, like he's shown that he's willing to play that way. So now Melvin's got to think twice, you know, as he's macroing up.
I would like to see R22 get a little more value out of these moles.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen a ton of moles actually in the series from him, although he brings it every game. He's used it in a couple pushes, and they've done okay. But these moles are such a strong unit that can be used in such a diverse amount of scenarios. I think we could see them a little bit, a little more use out of them from R22.
Yeah, maybe some like map control.
Especially to bring him every single game.
I don't know. Are you a fan? I always feel like such a gamer if I see like a campfire out in the map and then I build a mole warren right next to it. You know what I mean? Like the cabin, clear the cabin, sell the warren, get the campfire. Like those little kind of utility moves could be really fun too. In the bottom, R22, and top left, Melvin Fro. And actually, yeah, maybe it's a lot smoother this game. So hopefully, Melvin Fro's internet connection has been resolved at this point. Alright, so this map is pretty awkward for Melvin. Not really any good first expansion options. So this is going to be a wild one for Melvin. I mean, what do you even do in a situation like this? I guess you are forced to play one base, or do you try to stand your ground firm on a natural that's in kind of a clunky position? I think I lost the olive here. Let me double check. There you are.
Hello? Okay, yeah, sorry, I got kicked out.
You're cool, man. I set you up with like 2 softballs and there was no response, so I was like, I don't know, guys. Well, I guess really what I want your opinion on is, you know, we've been talking about how Melvin is a 2-base gamer, likes to play defensive, likes to get up to his comp, but this map is absolute dog water for Melvin. Like, does he go with 1 base, or does he try to force making 2 base work anyways?
Okay, you ready? Yeah. Here's the Mega Mind play for Melvin. All right, you play 4 warrens, ninja, sell them all for 16 farms, drop a wolf.
Nice.
Thank you guys.
You'll not be taking questions.
No further questions. No, but seriously, I think you got to play 1 base Badger if you're Melvin. I mean, you could take this forward mill, but it's so bad.
It is.
It's just
really
so bad.
Well, this choke is well. Look at it a little deeper though. I mean, the choke is not bad here. R22 would have to attack for the low ground around some awkward like trees and bushes and stuff. So maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Okay, how about this? What if R22 attacks from this other mill here, right? And there's only like this one little walkway thing, right? If the skunk gas gets down there and Melvin Fro is forced to push in on that, that's a horrible choke for skunks either way, right? Yeah, if he can defend from that side, that's good because R22 won't be able to push in from that angle. But
if R22 could just goad him at this base with skunk gas, that's a good point. Well,
he'll have no problem macroing behind it too.
Both sides are not making any economic moves. I think the problem, like R22 could expand, but the thing is he knows Melvin is stuck to where Melvin really can't, you know. So if R22 does expand, then Melvin all of a sudden has a much stronger 1 base push.
Right. Yeah. So I think the strat here for R22 is play very safe on tier 1.
Oh, great! Not to interrupt you, but did you see R22 just scouted that ninja? It was very good. Very good due diligence there.
He knew my play like the back of his hand. He knew it was the best play, so he had to go check.
Yeah, that's right. He knew that was the 5-head move.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, Melvin Fro is a huge timing window here, by the way. R22's on 18 squirrels versus 2 skunks, and his first skunk is gonna hit the field in time. So the question is, can he defend? Melvin Fro is gonna push in on 2 skunks, it looks like. Does he have enough, though?
Yeah, this is a nice looking army.
So he's not even gonna wait for a tier 3. He's not gonna play 1 base Badger. He's just gonna play 1 base skunk, basically.
But again, you try to force them.
Gonna just rally in into the open field.
Ooh, get him back.
He's losing his commander, though.
Oh no, that's horrible for R22.
Losing his commander. This is really, really bad. He's gonna pull home. A lot of squirrels still left on the field for Melvin Fro. He's on top of the warrens. Pigeon warren goes down, but I think R22 will hold this without losing any pigs, which is really good for him.
Yeah, the pigeons here really helping keep these skunks alive. Melvin, good retreat on the commander there. HP starting to get pretty low. And Melvin will make it out with the skunks intact, so question is how much
Still
does he
pushing,
want to
yeah.
push? Yeah.
I don't know. This is getting pretty risky for Melvin. He's gonna start losing a lot of things here. I think if he keeps this push going. Yeah, now he's starting to lose his tier 1. And he's gonna get out with the skunks, I think, but he's not really have gotten the damage he wanted to. He did get a ward. Not bad. I think they're pretty still even at this point. Looks like the graphs are Melvin a little bit ahead, which is probably correct.
Yeah, I think the key there was Melvin, like they traded kind of evenly, but then Melvin also got warrants, right?
Yeah, you got one pigeon warrant, which is too big.
So trying to get his units up on the
again.
high ground here. All that gas is actually
both his
yellow.
Skunks, though. So he's killing all of. I mean, he's losing both skunks there, and that's a huge tempo loss. If he's gonna need to get those back, and they're also supply blocked now.
But the cheeky Badger Warren on the way from
Oh,
Melvin.
is
Scout
this
for
the
R22.
play?
He can
Very
see
important,
it, he
guys.
does.
See it. Oh, what does he do now though? He has supply blocked these skunks, and so they're not gonna be. He's gonna sell them. Ninja.
No, dude, build. This is your mole time, man.
Yeah, this is the time.
I would
think
sell
he actually
everything
make
and
this work.
only
There it
build
is.
moles and then target
There it
down the
is.
mill. Would that work?
Just dropping moles on the side. Yeah, I think that's definitely the best play to lose, I'm pretty sure. It's the optimal move. And Melvin was like, okay, what's happening? I don't see any tier 2. Uh-oh, where are the moles? Where are the moles?
Yeah,
He's gotta know. He sees the army moving out, and he's...
Get 6
he
moles
knows.
and just target down that mill. That's the
Yeah,
only mill on the
I
map.
completely agree. It's the only thing to do, because if you win the fight, which you probably will, you're not gonna kill the Badger, which is out in 10 seconds, on top of the Warrens, on top of 2 Warrens going down. This fight is excellent for R22, but once the Badger hits the field, it's gonna look a whole lot different.
Yeah, and the skunks are
this
just
fight is not even going that
cleaning
well.
up the tier 1. Yeah, that
Yeah,
wasn't
the
the right
skunks-
angle for R22. I think he should have
Yeah.
tried to be a sneaky boy there. And maybe come
I
in from
agree.
the west side or something through the forest.
And
Yeah,
I think
that's
this is looking good for Melvin. I don't think there's any way he can lose it from this position.
Unless R22 sells everything and builds moles.
Yeah, that's what you do at this point, actually, though. That's legitimately what you do.
Yeah,
Because he's,
I'm
he's
surprised.
setting for a base race. Starving now.
Oh, there's the campfire though. Yeah, this should be
Yeah.
it for Melvin. So, 3-1 for Melvin. R22
Crazy.
can still come back from this, but all right, he's gonna try to move out with these squirrels. But yeah, I think
But he's actually gonna get caught here.
he could have maybe sold all the squirrels earlier and then build some mole warrants, but that still would have been a Hail Mary. That probably wouldn't have worked anyway. So there
Yeah,
it
I
is.
think Melvin's too smart to let that kind of base race shenanigan happen to him, but a good try for sure. And that's 3-1.
3-1 for Melvin, so it could
Yeah.
only be one more match here to determine who is going to go to the grand finals and face either Sasha or Tatanka.
Yeah, R22 here, back against a wall, needs to
I
make
want to see
something
him go back
happen.
to, you know, I hate to be that guy, but I want to see him go back to what brought him success against you, man. Like, some smart move outs with some chameleons, like,
Yeah.
some good timing, like, I think he's getting a little bit, yeah, there it is. Like, go back to what you're good at, man. This is the
Back to the
R22 comp right
And-
here.
Yeah, I agree. He's so good at that early game, and I think this is a great deck. Yeah. I think you pick this, and you can really make some tier 2 harassment, arms race type stuff happen, and you can still be competitive in the late game with this deck for sure.
Yeah.
Once the Badgers start getting out, then you start to get into more trouble. But this can definitely work. Absolutely can work. Oh.
Or Melvin can just leave.
Rage quit. Out the floor.
So yeah, we didn't see cams though there from R22. So is he gonna give up the chameleon dream? I mean, chameleons aren't in the best spot right now, but I don't think they're awful either.
No, I think they're a good unit, especially if you can get a 4 in an early game
Yeah.
against no moles. Especially, you can really do some damage on tier 1. Moles are a pretty good counter to chameleons, but guess what? Melvin Fro is like the one guy in the scene who's never gonna pick him. So
Yeah. Melvin.
no, man. He's making it happen. Yeah. So if you're R22 being down 3-1 versus one of the top 3 players in the world,
Well, let's think
is
about what
not
went
a
wrong
good
for
spot.
him, right? Like,
Yeah.
game number 1, everything was fine, and then Like, he could have taken that to the late game, even Badger versus no Badger. Like, he had his snakes and stuff like that. But he just wanted to go in. He fell for that classic move where you see the opponent building a tier 3, and your gut reaction tells you, oh, let's go hit them before the tier 3 is ready. But that almost never works, you know?
It's so difficult to do. Like, in actual practice, it's so hard to make that work.
Yeah.
Because in situations like that, there's so many Warrens on the field. There's just a lot of tanking.
Yep.
And with so many Falcons also, that makes the fight short. When you're attacking to a base, you want the fights to not be like that. You know, the fight is decided like that. And when you're trying to take out Warrens while the opponent's Falcon bursting you, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and then match number 2 was honestly a very similar story, right? Wasn't it? Where he saw the Wolf Badger go down, he goes in for an attack, he gets the Badger Warren, and then he dies on the counter. In kind of a similar way, where he's trying to retreat from the Wolf, and it's just not happening. Like, game number 3, he made it a scrappy one-base game, and that worked out for him, because R22 is very strong with his tier 2 control.
He is,
and decision-making, and we saw that match. And the last game there, I mean, again, it was a scrappy one-base match, but Melvin Fro just kind of came out a little bit more on top in some of the engagements, and somehow was able to squeeze out that Badger. And that makes me, like, I have no idea how people do that. A one-base scrappy games, and you look and you're like, how are they building a tier 3? So crazy. In the right, Melvin with Hopper this time, and in the top left, R22. And yeah, R22 going back to his roots, and I love to see it. I think that's the good decision to be made. This is the first deck that he showed this series. I think this is what he's practiced and prepared for today. But again, when he started losing, he started trying to flex into other comps, and I don't know. I'm glad to see him stand back on match point with what he prepared.
Yeah, no, I agree.
5 farm more.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I think in this game, people will be like, "Oh, your deck sucks, deck loss." But a lot of times, if you're losing, it's not always the deck. It can honestly sometimes be a playstyle thing. I think more times than not.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, you need to change your playstyle, how you're playing against your opponent, versus how the deck is. You can change your deck, and that can change your playstyle, but it's really about how you're approaching the way your opponent plays. And I think when you're playing someone like Melvin, there's a couple ways to take it. You really wanna, Melvin's gonna want to take it late, and so your option A is bring like 2 or 3 tier 3, like a really strong late game deck, and try to meet him there and try to beat him in that domain, or try to take it early and try to take him where he's not comfortable. But when you bring it right to where Melvin wants it, also 3 squirrels here from Melvin, he's gonna at least pressure this building farm enough to sell, I think. Well, let's see. I think you're gonna want to sell this. Oh, he's not gonna get it.
R22 wants to keep it up.
R22.
Or he does sell it.
Does sell it.
No,
It's probably smart as
lag.
hell. Such a crucial moment too.
I know, that was like the moment there. But he got 51 bucks back on the sell, so.
Yeah, it's just basically a farm cancel at that point. Lost 2 squirrels though as well to 1. So nice pick up there from Melvin. Gotta be happy with that. It's gonna be hard to attack into R22's base early because he's got a very defendable position here.
Yeah, you can take this pocket like all the way in the 9 o'clock, and Melvin can just never get over there, which is
Hey, you're
really
right.
great.
I didn't even know. Yeah, he's totally cut off. You're right. He's got a really nice 4.
Yeah.
Definitely 3.
It's a little close to Melvin, but Melvin, is probably going to take this base a little bit to the south of his main, if I had to guess, or the high ground one. I don't know. It's tough. Like, it's not the best situation here for Melvin. I mean, Melvin's going to have to take fights on that high ground, right? Obviously, if R22 starts maintaining that high ground, it's not going to be good. R22 building a lot of tier 1, though. Might be thinking about some aggression.
Actually, the thing with this base for R22 that I guess I didn't see at first is, if Melvin Pro builds Skunks, which he is, and then takes free gas across this water onto the pigs of R22, it's just game over. There's no way you win this fight. So I think it's actually really smart of him to move out across the water like this and try to turn that into a bit of a positive.
I like where he's placing his Warrens, because he's kind of conceding, like, yeah, if they kill those Warrens, I mean, I'm dead anyways. He needs to be careful of the commander HP.
Almost skunk, 5 HP left on the commander.
No, R22! Oh my god, 1 HP goes down. Bro.
When the Mole Warrens are left in the open, there's enough here for him to hold, but for how long? He needs to get back, and he's gonna lose his Warrens, I think.
This is a nightmare for R22.
Oh, no. He pulled it back, but he ended up not healing up before he went back in with the commander, and losing that is just so brutal. With the pigeons tier to resupply like this, it's gonna make killing even tier 1 difficult on low tier 1 numbers.
And Melvin showing us that he can definitely play the early to mid game as well. This Squirrel Skunk Pigeon attack is absolutely brutal. R22 holding off for his tournament life, but I think this is going to be it. And Melvin will be our first grand finalist. R22 fighting to the last squirrel, but I don't know, man. This is that position you're talking about too with the skunks here.
He can't possibly move across this water, and he has to fight. I mean, this is his tournament life on the line. He's fighting for all he's got, but I think he knows that it's over. There's the tap.
Unfortunate, man. But congratulations for Melvin.
Yeah, congratulations to Melvin. He's going back to a finals.